As the month of Ramadan approaches, Muslims around the world are preparing to fast, pray, and reconnect with their faith. But for many of us, the idea of reconnecting with Islam can feel daunting, especially if we've been away for a while or feel disconnected from our spiritual practice. That is why in today's video, we are going to explore the power of Ramadan as a time of renewal, transformation, and reconnection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Or if you are looking to turn over a new leaf in your spiritual practice, this video is for you. Together, let's embrace the power of Ramadan as a time of renewal, transformation, and reconnection with Islam. Join us as we explore the possibilities and potential of this blessed month and discover the joy and peace that come from a renewed relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So stay tuned and don't go far.
صلى الله على محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم.
Assalamu Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my brothers and sisters in Islam. My name is Abdurazak Soraka and welcome to All About Islam. Today in this video, we are just here to inform you that there's going to be a new playlist that we've opened on our YouTube channel. This playlist is going to be named as Reconnecting with Islam. Now, in this playlist, the videos that we are going to be putting there are just going to be about Islam, right? And also because of the coming of this month of Ramadan, we are going to be taking stories from people that when you just go and meet people and then we take stories from them, so that this kind of stories will inspire those of you watching us and those who are yet to watch us. So in the month of Ramadan, these are the things that we are going to be focused on, because we are going to be fasting for, I don't know, maybe 29 days or 30 days, and we are thinking of, in this period of 29 days or 30 days, we should have at least maybe 10 videos in this particular playlist. So you should join us so that you can all benefit from this video. Assalamu Alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. To begin this particular episode, this is going to be the first episode in this playlist, which means that we are fortunate enough to get a special guest, which we are going to be hosting today, alhamdulillah. Now, this special guest is actually a brother to me, a colleague, a classmate, and a brother from another mother. And without further ado, because I won't say much about him, we will just start asking questions so that he can start pouring all the knowledge he has, because I know him personally and I'm sure that you are also going to benefit from what he has to say. We are just going to be focusing on how to embrace this coming Ramadan, how to look upon all the difficulties and all the struggles that Ramadan will bring to us as Muslims, right? Before we start, the first question is for him to introduce himself to us, right? So that we know whom we are hosting today.
MashaAllah. Assalamu Alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First of all, I would like to thank you for this great opportunity, for giving me the chance to contribute towards my religion. I'm in the person of Abdullah Zaida Muhammad. So to keep things short, as you already mentioned, I think we can delve into the order of the day.
MashaAllah, he's a man of few words, but when we start the main event, you realize what I'm saying. Yes. So our first question is that we know that Ramadan is a special month, right? And in this special month, there are things that is going to befall us, right? So my first question to my friend is, why is Ramadan so important to you? And what can you share about Ramadan that can actually help me as someone who is hosting you and those who are watching us?
MashaAllah. First of all, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalam ala man nabiyya ba'd. First of all, Ramadan, as we already know, is actually a name given to a particular month in the Islamic calendar. And Ramadan is actually the ninth month of the Islamic calendar, during which Muslims fast from dawn to sunset. It is an incredibly important month for Muslims for several reasons, including Ramadan, or fasting during the month of Ramadan, is one of the 5 pillars of Islam, which are the basic acts of worship that are obligatory for all Muslims. And this is even backed by the Quranic verse in Surah Al-Baqarah, that's Quran chapter 2, verse 183, which says that, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kutiba alaykum siyam kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun, which translates, O you who have believed, decreed upon you is fasting, as it was decreed upon those before you, that you may become righteous. You could see that Ramadan is known to be in place since time immemorial. Or let me put it in general, fasting is being imposed upon the believers since time immemorial, be it in different forms, not just focused on just fasting for a whole month. It could be other ranges of periods. Get it? And also by fasting, we Muslims, we demonstrate our submission to Allah and our willingness to sacrifice for the sake of our faith, which is very, very spectacular when it comes to reconnecting with our religion. Ramadan to me is actually a time for spiritual reflection and self-improvement. Muslims are encouraged to increase their acts of worship, read the Quran, as Ramadan is the month of the Quran, and engage in a lot of acts of charity and kindness during this month. Ramadan is also a time for community and togetherness, which is the Islamic brotherhood. Muslims, when we break our fast together each night, often with families and friends, and many mosques hold special Ramadan activities, which include the iftar and prayers, that's the Taraweeh. So this is actually a time for a great connection or a great bond formation, as Ramadan, not just a month for fasting, Ramadan is also a month that unifies. You get it? Also, participating in Ramadan can be a powerful way to reconnect with Islam. By fasting and engaging in extra acts of worship and kindness, we can deepen our spiritual connection and gain a greater appreciation for the blessings in our life. Additionally, the sense of community and togetherness during this month can be a great source of support and encouragement for our faith.
Now, Jazakallahu khairan for this short yet informative message. I think I took a lot of information from this. Yes, I think one of the things that I took is that to use this coming Ramadan to strengthen my iman in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and also purify my soul, such that even after Ramadan I can have a purified and a unified human being, right? So now we move to the next question, and this question, I know that most of us are going through it. You know, when Ramadan comes, it comes with some kind of difficulties. You know, when you look at the situation in which we are in now, there are things that will make this fasting difficult, right? And speaking from experience, I know that the speaker here or my brother here who has actually underwent some of the struggles, and so we want to take some difficulties from his how will I even put it, I think some difficulties that he faced during Ramadan, maybe last year or maybe last 2 years, and how did he use the faith he has in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to combat this difficulty.
Alhamdulillah. Ramadan signifies self-transformation and of spiritual reflection. You know, it is said by one great philosopher that man cannot remake himself without suffering, because he is both the marble and the sculptor. Once you decide to transform yourself.
No.
You must avail yourself for the consequences it comes with. And such consequences have endless benefits. And that is what Ramadan stands for. Though the fasting serves as a test, and everybody can testify to that. During every test, it comes with ups and downs. But once it is done and done well, the results is overwhelming. You get it? So there are some few ways in which observing Ramadan can help you, such as self-discipline. One of the primary aspects of Ramadan is fasting, which involves abstaining from food and drink from sunrise to sunset, right? But fasting requires self-discipline and can help you develop the habit of delaying gratification, which can be beneficial in other areas of life as well, be it health and among others. The spiritual growth. Ramadan is a time for reflection and spiritual growth. By dedicating time each day to prayer and reading the Quran, you can deepen your connection to Allah and gain a sense of inner peace that can help you face life's challenges with greater equanimity. Thirdly, charity. The blessings that comes with doing charitable works in Ramadan is very great. Ramadan is also a time for giving and charity. By donating to those in need, you can develop a greater sense of empathy and compassion, which can help you overcome personal struggles and challenges by reminding you that you are not alone in your struggles. As you struggle, you must also incorporate patience in it. Because imagine you dividing yourself of not eating from sunrise to sunset. It means you are practicing a great amount of patience. And Allah Rabbul Izzah mentions in the glorious Quran that Inna Allaha ma'as sabirin, that He, Allah, is with those who are patient. One thing we also have to understand is that Ramadan is a month of fasting, not feasting. Most people, during breaking of fast or during taking of suhoor, they eat without thinking, and which can actually affect your spiritual growth. Because if you have it in mind that you are eating so that it can sustain you during the hours of not eating, you could eat without thinking. And if you could eat without thinking, it could affect your consciousness. Once your consciousness is being affected, it could affect your iman. You get it? Because you must have what? A great sense of what? Consciousness, to be able to focus.
Yes.
And once you are much focused, you get this kind of inner peace, of which you feel like you are actually doing Ramadan for Allah. Allah mentions that there are a lot of works, or there are a lot of good deeds that is done to benefit the doer. But it has been made known to us that Ramadan is actually for Allah. Please hope it is understood. Lastly, community. Ramadan is a time when Muslims come together in the breaking of their fast, sharing meals with one another. This sense of community can provide support and encouragement when you are facing personal challenges, and can help you feel connected to others in a meaningful way. And most of the times during the period of Ramadan, we sometimes see people who have actually renewed their faith. When not in Ramadan, we usually don't see them observing some acts of worships. even though they might be doing it, but they don't do it publicly. But during the month of Ramadan, they all come out to be seen performing in order to enjoy this companionship. And one problem is that people who are already engaged in the act of worship publicly also tend to be ridiculing them, which is very bad. So during this month, I would like to entreat each and every one of us to desist from that if we are fond of doing that. Because once you continue doing that, it actually diminishes the vigor that people of renewed faith are having in this month, and of which I think it should be discouraged, as it is a crestfallen act. Overall, observing Ramadan can help you develop the qualities of self-discipline, as already mentioned, spirituality, generosity, and community that can help you overcome personal struggles and challenges in life. But we have to remember that Allah doesn't burden a soul more than it can endure, as mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah.
So yes, I think from what you just informed us, I took something from it, and I had, or I have, a question. Now you see, as some of us want to, take part in this act of charity, the normal charity that we do in Ramadan, that is to help brothers and sisters who actually do not have, yet we ourselves don't have that capability, but then we have the intention of doing it with the small that we have. Now, is there anything that you can tell us, or is there anything that we can benefit from the intentions that we had, though we cannot help them? Or maybe you can just give us a way that we can do it, though we don't have the means of doing it. Is there any way we can help?
MashaAllah, there is this hadith by the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, which says that niyatul mu'min khayrun min amal. And another hadith also mentions that innamal a'malu bin niyat. That intention is very, very important when it comes to good deeds. Over here, you just intending to even offer the help, that's the charitable activity, automatically you already have a blessing. But in giving out, you don't have to have many, you don't have to have much to even give out. You can even share the little you have, you can even share. And we should remember that in Ramadan, the Prophet Muhammad says that anyone who feeds someone who fasted, especially during iftar, that's breaking of the fast, even with just a single date, you have a blessing which is equivalent to the blessing of the one who has fasted. So if you don't want this, what do you want? It is you don't need to have a whole lot before you can give. Even sometimes the smile you will even give out when you see a brother or a sister is even a charitable activity of which you can benefit from. So you are not supposed to have plenty, you are not supposed to have more, you are not supposed to have much before you can give. Even just sharing, as they say, sharing is caring.
Mashallah, mashallah. I think I've gotten emotional at this point. Yeah, because I really had to listen to this part. Yes, but then I think I'll be asking one question, and this question is going to be the end. The last question that I'll be asking him, and then after which we'll end this video, and then God willing, if we get him, then we can still host him in our subsequent videos, right? So my last question is there any advice that you can give brothers and sisters who are not Muslims, or who are actually Muslims and are thinking of reconnecting with Allah Subhanahu wa Taala in this coming Ramadan, or maybe they are struggling? That is, their faith is not that strong, and also they want to use this coming Ramadan to strengthen their iman in Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, and also build a stronger relationship with their Muslim brothers and sisters. Is there any advice to give to the general Muslim public, the non-Muslim community, those who don't believe in Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, anybody, those watching us, those who are yet to watch us? Is there any advice that you can give to us prior to this coming Ramadan?
First of all, thank you for the question. One important thing I want each and every one of us to understand is that faith attainment is a journey, not a destination. Just like Ramadan is a month of patience, we have to understand that Ramadan is actually a special time of the year for all Muslims. A time of spiritual renewal and an opportunity to draw closer to Allah Rabbul Izzah. There are some few tips that can help us make most of this Ramadan and actually reconnect with Islam. In the attainment of everything, or in order to become successful in everything, first of all, one of the most important thing one must do is to set clear goals. You must make sure that your goals are very clear, and the goals too must be realistic. Before Ramadan begins, the goals you set for yourself must be realistic. Realistic in a sense that they are achievable. Sometimes we could set some unrealistic goals, of which we will find ourselves wanting, because that goal is actually not attainable. You ask yourself, what do I want to achieve during this month? Do I want to read more Quran? Do I want to pray more? Do I want to give more charity? Setting clear goals, setting realistic goals will help us stay focused and motivated throughout the month. Secondly, read the Quran. Ramadan is the month of the Quran. It is clearly stated in the Quran. It's the month of the Quran, so we should make sure to read as much as Quran we can. We are not supposed to become a hafiz of the Quran to read much. The little you know, my brother, my sister, try your best, do your best, and your best will be rewarded. Try to read at least some chapters per day, even some verses per day. And if you can't do that, you just read as much as you can. You can also try to memorize some verses from the Quran. Also, attending of the Taraweeh prayers. The Taraweeh prayers are special prayers that we perform during this month. We should try to attend as many as we can. And if you can't attend, then you can even perform them at home. If you can't do it at the mosque, you can still perform your Taraweeh at the home. Furthermore, we should inculcate the habit of giving charity. As I already mentioned, you don't have to have much before you can give. Ramadan is a time of giving, so try to give as much as we can. Even the small amounts can make a huge difference. We can give local charity or charity that helps people in other parts of the world. Also, we should fast with intention. We should fast with intention. We should fast with intention. I mentioned it 3 times. But the intention should also be sincere. You are fasting for the sake of Allah Rabbul Izzah. You are not fasting because Brother Abdul Razak is fasting now. Sister, what else is fasting? Or you are just fasting because the entire Muslim community is fasting. It should be between you and your Lord. You have to fast for the sake of your Lord. Fasting during Ramadan is very important. Make sure you remember the purpose of the fasting, to increase your taqwa, that's your God consciousness. Reflect on the meaning of Ramadan. Take some time to reflect on the meaning of Ramadan. You have to think of it, as they say, as a man thinketh, so he is. Once you reflect, you could know what it really means to you. Think about the blessings that Allah has given you and how you can show gratitude for these blessings. Many a times we focus on the problem, the trials, the tribulation. But once we start counting our blessings, we could realize how fortunate we are. Even just being present in this month is a very great achievement. Just being present in this month is a very great achievement, of which we have to even thank our Lord for that. Can learn some hadiths of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, has his sayings and actions are the best. He's known as the finest being to ever live on this earth. We should reflect upon his teachings and also try to implement them in our life. We should connect with other Muslims. It's a great time for connection. Attend iftar meals, visit the mosque, participate in community events. Being part of a community can actually help you stay motivated and being inspired. And also, we can actually make dua. You can finally make dua, supplicate to Allah Rabbul Izzah. He listens. Ask him to guide you and help you make most of this Ramadan. Remember that Allah is always there for you, and He will answer your prayers if you ask with sincerity. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, whoever fasts Ramadan out of faith and seeking reward from Allah, all their previous sins will be forgiven. Such a very great opportunity. He also mentions that when Ramadan enters, the gates of paradise are opened, the gates of hellfires are closed, and the devils are chained. The fact that the devils are chained doesn't mean you should near evil deeds. It's just like you shackling a beast, just chaining a beast. Even though the beast is being shackled, but once you go closer to the beast, and if you are within his reach, it's easy for the beast to harm you. Likewise, sins. The fact that the devils are chained doesn't mean you should near sin. If you near sin, you are going to fall into it. And also, lastly, we have to remember that Ramadan is actually divided into 3 parts. The first 10 days is for the mercy of Allah. That's the rahmah of Allah Rabbul Izzah. So during the first 10 days, we should, even though you can ask for a lot of things, but asking for the mercy of Allah should be your utmost priority. And the second part is seeking for forgiveness. You should also ask for a lot of forgiveness, that's maghfirah. And the last part of Ramadan focuses much on removing a lot of people from the hellfire through to Jannah, that's paradise, with Allah Rabbul Izzah's interventions. So we should have these things in mind, which can help us actually benefit a lot from this glorious month. And I strongly believe that everything done with good intention and everything done with Allah will never go unpaid, and it will never go valueless. So these are some few advice I think once you and I incorporate into our daily activities during this blessed month, we can all come out of the month being successful and being successful after
Ramadan.
the month.
MashaAllah.
Thank you very much for having you all here. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakallahu khairan. Well, the questions are still coming though. Yeah, I have plenty of questions, but I'm not going to be ask. I'm not going to be asking the questions today. I think maybe in our subsequent videos the questions will come. But then I know that those of you that will be watching this video will have your questions for my dear friend. Right? Yeah, if not for him, the questions will be coming to me. So you can drop down your question in the comment section down below, and when we see it, we are going to reply to, inshallah. Now, with this, I say to you that this is going to be the last part of the interview, as he has mentioned that Ramadan is going to be the month where we come closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And yes, if you want to take part in charity, it doesn't mean that you should actually have many to give to other people who are also in need. Even the few that you have, you can also divide it with the people, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to bless you. So yes, this is what we have in this first episode in the channel, or in the playlist Reconnecting with Islam. There's going to be more videos that will come, inshallah, maybe next week, next 2 weeks, we don't know. But then we hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give us the strength, the iman, and also the ability to bring it to you people. With this, I say to my brothers and sisters in Islam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive you, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will guide you. And yes, we say mashallah to my dear friend, and then definitely we are going to be calling him back. Definitely he is going to come back, and when he comes, there's going to be more information that we are going to be learning, right? Yes. So yes, he will come back. So he will come back. I will bring him back. Even if he doesn't want to come, we will go and drag him and bring him to this channel. So he said it that he's at less work, so he has to come. Yes. If you are doing work for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you know how it is. So yes, this is going to be the end. So we are going to be parting from here, and I say to you, Assalamu Alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.
Ramadan ni mwezi mmoja uliosangirwa na miezi yose mulizogoma mu Ramadan.